with all of this, the deportations, you have actual members of Congress who are openly trying to shield these illegal aliens from being deported. So these people are violating federal law, and you have members of Congress, Ilhan Omar AOC, who are doing that. And I think it's a reasonable question to pose. Is this at what level does this become treasonous behavior? I don't think is unreasonable to talk about. So I want to play Ilhan Omar hosting this remote workshop for Somalians and literally advising them how to avoid being deported. Watch. So they're talking about her advising people. I advise the Somalian people that if ICE attempts to question you, you are not obligated to answer their questions. Just state that you were advised by a lawyer not to answer questions. Disclosure of your name, immigration status, and the mode of entry is not mandatory. Why does it take them so long to get through words? Learn the laws and prepare yourself.
Or they wouldn't be there, right?
Right. Learn the laws and refrain from disclosing information that you would prefer them not know. Am I being too harsh to say that this is that's treasonous?
No, and you asked the question, what defines treason? And the beauty is that when your guys are in charge, you get to define treason. And I would define treason as that. I'm not even joking. What would treason be if not? And that, they would be so much meaner to us, by the way, defining treason, sedition. I mean, the J6 investigation, obviously the largest in the history of the DOJ. But if you are actually advocating for illegal aliens to be able to remain in the country on the teat of the American taxpayer, you're committing treason. Moreover, I don't understand why Americans allow for foreigners to be elected to positions of political power. Ilhan Omar was born in Somalia.
Yep.
She married her brother.
Yep.
These are things that Americans don't like. That's not marrying your brother and being born in Somalia. We don't really click with that. And so I don't know why she's able to hold public office. And of course, the way that she decides to use that power is the way that all of these different immigrant groups have used power throughout the past 70 years, which is they use their political power to establish these ethnic beachheads to facilitate more of people from their country coming over. They accumulate wealth, political power, and they use all of that to take advantage of well-meaning normal Americans and basically just elevate their own status, whether they be Somalians, Chinese, Indians, what have you. And this is actually maybe the most liberal, maybe the nicest thing I'll say, because I'll have my, critiques of Black culture or Native American culture or what have you. But I actually do view those cultures and those people to be inseparable from American history because they've been here forever. Right. AOC is Puerto Rican. Ilhan Omar is Somalian. Go away. You are not part of the club. I don't know. And they demonstrate that by just trying to get more people, more global citizens to come into the country and just completely ruin it. So yeah, they should all, and now that Gitmo's open again, maybe we do have a place to send them to, right? Do you know my, I want to get your thoughts too, Eric, but do you know my Congressman Brandon Gill? Oh yeah. Yeah.
I am so proud of him. I am so happy that he is there shaking things up. He actually started a petition to deport Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, please.
I love it. How can you argue with this? It says Omar is more loyal to illegal Somalians than she is to the United States. Omar is hosting free workshops for Somalians who are in our country illegally on how to evade ICE and deportation. A member of Congress is facilitating a full-scale invasion of our country.
Objectively true.
Objectively true.
No, they're not wrong on that. Look, whatever you call it, it's just whatever you want to describe that as is when you have someone that is supposedly a representative of your country that is essentially pledging their allegiance to foreigners. Right. And really telling them how to avoid basically having to go back home to their home country. It's just a bizarre position for a Congress. We're not talking about someone that is, I don't know, local. We're talking
I'm
about
saying a member
of Congress. This is a congressman, congresswoman, or whatever the hell. It's just a bizarre position that. Look, the left has gained so much ground on this subject matter of immigration that they're able to really take public positions like this, and there's basically no backlash whatsoever to taking those positions. Where, as we talk about a round table, you see how bizarre it is. Like, wow, this is a person that was elected to supposedly serve the American people, and here they are trying to protect non-American people or using their position of power to protect non-American people. And again, it was explicitly stated in the video that we watched where they're talking about their immigration status, right? So they're not Americans, right? That we're talking about here,
right. Well,
a video of her somewhere, like speaking to some Somalian group where she said, like, my role is to use my position in the U.S. Congress to advocate for the interests of like Somalian people, meaning coming to America, getting public benefits, etc. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that just should not happen. And the fact that you alluded to it earlier, John, that she is only a congressperson in that district because that district is like 90% Somali.
It's like nothing. Minnesota in general right now is and like it's getting crazy,
really
out
bad,
there, man. Like it is basically
Somalia.
Ethiopia and Somalia. It really is. It's crazy, man.
I mean, he could show. This is so embarrassing.
What?
Matthew, he was in Black Hawk Down, right?
Oh yeah, Marsden.
Yeah, he could tell you all about Somalia. That's where that movie takes place, right?
Okay. Well, next time he's on the show, I'll have him. I'll ask him about it.
A Somalia expert, Matthew Marsden.
Yeah. We'll make sure that we reflect his title on the show next time to Somalia expert. So I mentioned AOC. You had AOC doing the same type of thing. She had an entire webinar advising illegals on how to avoid deportation. You can ask if you're free to go. You have the right to remain silent. Don't give false documents. If they ask to voluntarily search you, you do not have to give them permission. You have a right to refuse to give your fingerprints. And so, I mean, this is just downright shameful. Again, I would argue treason.
No other country does that.
None.
You don't get to like, okay, you have access to all of these, what the geographical area has already agreed to, or quote unquote rights, though I don't think that's the proper term that they use there.
Yeah.
You don't get to like go into another country. Like no other country would allow you to do that. Oh, well, you get access to all these things that everybody here has access to, even though you're not supposed to be here.
Right.
No other country on the planet operates like that.
No.
But we're expected to, and it's not that just that you're expected to do it, it's that you have actual Congress folk advocating it, right? Out in the open, and nothing happens to them. That is bizarre. I don't care what political position that you have.
I know, it's shocking. So I want to play Tom Homan, Borders Are Tom Homan. I can't talk today. I'm already checked out for the weekend, apparently. He was asked about this webinar that AOC put on over on Fox. Here's what he had to say.
But Tom, you got AOC out there, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, putting out a webinar, doing a webinar to help illegals avoid, I guess, apprehension, giving tips about how to continue to remain in the country and ultimately game the system.
And I sent an email today to the Deputy Attorney General. At what level is that impediment? Is that impediment? I'm not an attorney. I'm not a prosecutor. Is that impediment? Is that impeding our law enforcement efforts? If so, what are we going to do about it? Is she crossing the line? So I'm working with the Department of Justice and finding out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AOC is going to be in trouble now, but I need the AOG to opine on that. But because there's impediment, it's impediment in my opinion.
I love that guy so much.
Yeah, I think that we should you should chase the dragon of winning and victory, and we never have to come down from it. Like, if you thought that executive orders are fun, I mean, imagine how much fun it is to see like your political opposition go to jail. I mean, the left was doing that for 4 years of the J6 stuff. Imagine how much fun it would be to see AOC in handcuffs.
Okay, but well, remember when she pretended like she was in handcuffs? She had her hands behind her back, but she wasn't actually in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Okay, but I would like to just point out, because you're not wrong, but that's because they are the ones committing the crimes.
Yeah, of course.
Like, there were many innocent people that they have imprisoned, but they are actually committing crimes. So it's not even about just political retribution for retribution's sake. It's just that, okay, well, now we can actually arrest the criminals.
Of course.
And they happen to be our political opposition.
Exactly.
If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.